Good evening, welcome to the programme as ever. Always look forward to this on a Thursday evening. Hope you do too. Talking Sheffield sport, talking football specifically this evening. If you're a Sheffield Wednesday fan of almost any generation really, it's my pleasure to introduce one of your favourite players, one of the best players of all time in Sheffield Wednesday's history, and a personal favourite of mine because I came across him first just up the road, if I can say this, at Elland Road playing for Leeds United. That's where he caught my eye. But John Sheridan, woven in Sheffield folklore, Hillsborough in particular, welcome to the show.
Good evening.
Thanks very much indeed for coming in. You still live up in West Yorkshire as well, so you've driven the short distance down here this evening.
Yeah, not too far. Still live in Leeds, always lived in Leeds, so no, the journey was okay, yeah, no problem.
You have to be a special player in these parts to be able to say, I live in Leeds, I've always lived in Leeds, and be a former Leeds United player and be the favourite that you are here. Because you're aware of that rivalry and that friction that there exists there.
Yeah, I think it's actually got a little bit worse than what it was when I played in them days. But no, listen, two great clubs. I was very fortunate to play for them both, and support-wise and big histories, both sets of clubs. And no, I was very lucky to have some success with both teams, and I really enjoyed my time playing for both teams.
And those who've watched you have been very fortunate as well. Ron Atkinson, you won't need me to repeat the description. It's a proper guest tonight, a proper player. Do you know when he signed you? On the day that he signed you, in fact, before you were introduced, I spoke to Ron on the phone. He was actually down in the West Country signing Phil King, around at the same time that he brought you in. And that's what he said to me straight away. He said, John Sheridan, proper player. And kind of, it said a lot in 2 words. As an accolade, how big do you regard that? Or did you struggle to get your head right? Because 1 or 2 people thought, what does he mean by that?
I think he probably means it because I enjoyed playing football, and I always wanted to be out playing and training and never wanted to miss a game. Always played when I was injured. I think he just wanted them players on board, because at the time when I did sign for Sheffield Wednesday, they were struggling a little bit. They were near the bottom of the table. But no, I think regarding myself and Ron, we had a great relationship, and I think he just appreciated what kind of player it was, and I appreciated what trust he had in me and what belief he give me, because it helped me to perform better. And it's nice when other people or managers say nice things. There's some managers will say bad things about me, I suppose. Yeah. But listen, when you take compliments, you take them on board. Yeah,
you've always been quite modest and very matter of fact. I know you're a joker who, no secret, you like a drink and, play hard, work hard. Listen, that's life, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm one of them players who know me and people who've watched me. I think they just appreciate that. I'm someone who's been very fortunate to play football, something I love. I'm just a normal lad from a council estate who's been very lucky to have a football career. And I think when people know me and they're out with me and socialise, I just let me hair down a little bit. I enjoy talking about football to supporters, and when we're in the company, I enjoy having a drink with supporters. And likewise, when the players were out, I think in them days you could do it, and what you can't really. It's difficult nowadays the way the game's gone. But I'm just a normal lad who, like I say, who loved what he was doing, and like I say, I was very lucky.
The more difficult for star footballers these days to enjoy life in the way that you guys did.
Yeah, it's difficult. Obviously, with the lots of things involved in it, and the media and social media. Obviously, money as well as heavily involved. It's and I can see why it's difficult for people to socialise like we did in the day, and. Because I just think the game's changed too much, and people are watching you a lot more. And
it's a pity. It's a great pity in a way, because you get somebody doing nothing more than having a pint on a Thursday night, who suddenly it's the worst thing in the world because the picture looks incriminating. It looks like they're being unprofessional.
It's important when you're having a drink. In our day, we drank at the right time, and when we went out to play, we played, we played proper stuff. We didn't let ourselves down on the pitch. If we were letting ourselves down on the pitch, I could see people why we're asking a question. But no, it's totally different today. The fitness and everything's totally different. I mean, there was a drinking culture in them days, and a lot of players were doing it. So But today I think the players are a lot more professional, and just the way they eat, and the game's a lot quicker, and it's a totally different game. And but it's still a ball, still a round ball, still 11v11, and one team wants to beat the other.
And for the umpteenth time, 50th or 100th time, I'm going to ask you to talk about that goal and that game in a moment or two's time. It probably is always a pleasure to talk about it. And I was saying to you before we came on air, in 40 odd years of working round here as a journalist, it's still the only major trophy that's been won by a Sheffield team that I've covered in all of that time back in 91. So I'm really grateful to you for that, for giving me a career highlight.
Yeah.
You know, and we're going to have a brief look back at it, and at the goal, and at one or two sort of the images of the day in a moment. Just after, because we talked about drinking, but this is the last time I'll probably refer to it this evening, apart from the fact I'll offer you a pint at the end of the show, which you won't see, is let's just correct something now, because I was at the 150th Sheffield Wednesday birthday bash a few weeks ago, okay, at Ponds Forge. Great occasion, big occasion, and actually, in deference to your legendary status, not much has been made of this on social media, but you made a brief appearance on stage, didn't you? Talking to Mark Clement. It was due to be less, you know, a more than brief appearance. You were struggling to speak, I think, in fairness, and you exited. You called a halt to your appearance, and you walked off. Got a great round of applause. At which point Ron Atkinson piped up, don't worry about Shez, Wayne Rooney's giving him a lift home, right, which ran down a storm, because we all thought you might have had, you know, just one over the... But there's another story, and this is the true story.
It was very unfortunate, a bit embarrassing as well on my part, but no, it was a great evening. Obviously, I was absolutely gutted with the way it ended, and having a great night, sat with Ron all night, and Kingy and Nigel Pearson, and obviously it was my turn to get up on the stage, and I was really looking forward to it as well. I was going to tell, I said to Ron, I'll tell a few stories and hopefully get the crowd and get one or two people laughing. But believe it or not, and I think people, and the way it happened, and how I walked off the stage was, I think people did think I'd wanted to. I'd just been talking to Chris Waddle 2 minutes earlier. And believe it or not, I was sat at the table and he shouts my name out, and I'd just finished eating me, I can't remember what the food was, or steak or whatever. And I've got a crown at the front, and my crown snapped off. Embarrassingly. So I rushed to the toilet trying to fix it, and I've gone on the stage and I thought, well, I just couldn't do anything about it. So it's quite comical, really, and I thought, I don't want to be speaking and whistling every time I speak, and because I could see Nigel Pearson and Archie behind me having a giggle. And I just thought, I'm going to have to just walk off without any explanation. And it probably looked... It looked quite... or people probably worried what was wrong with me.
Yes,
there was absolutely nothing wrong with me. There was no way I was in a great spirits. And Kingy texted me straight away. I just thought... And I just waited outside, and I just went back to the hotel, rang one or two people and just says, listen, I just didn't want to embarrass myself with a tooth missing up on the stage, so I'm gutted. I let probably one or two people or the supporters down, and because they probably don't know the reason why.
Well, I'm glad you could explain it.
No, I don't mind. Obviously, Ersty, and I told a few of the lads, and they were all laughing their heads off, and unfortunately, it's just... but I got it all fixed anyway the next day, or 2 days later. And
people put 2 and 2 together, a bit of a reputation, you know, but I mean, it wasn't. It's unfortunate, really. And he's just whistling through that gap.
No, it would have been comical, and I'm sure one or two would have had a nice time giggling at me.
All right. We won't do that much. In a moment, I'm going to ask you what your thoughts on Sheffield Wednesday today, and where they are. Obviously, for several years now, trying to get out of the Championship and do what you did in 1991 in the Ron Atkinson team. But we've got just 40 seconds of bliss for you now. Okay. Just looking back on a certain day in 1991.
Sheffield Wednesday.
Nigel Pearson there lifting the trophy. It was, as you saw at the end there, it was for a DVD that was on sale years and years ago. How many years are we talking back now? That 9 plus 17, 26 years ago. But that really encapsulated it nicely. And that goal. And do you know the word that's been tweeted to me? I know you don't understand Twitter, but I put up that you were on this show. The single word that's come back to me from a lot of people is dink.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, you know what that means. I know what that means. If anybody doesn't know what that means, tell us.
I think it's just when the ball hits, obviously goes in off the post, doesn't it? And
hear it again.
You can hear, yeah. I mean, a lot of people say that. I can remember the dink, but I mean, I didn't hear the dink on the day. So I'm just glad it went in the back of the net. And,
there was a well-placed microphone in the back of that goal, I think.
Yeah, I think
just
it was,
caught it.
Yeah.
So, obviously, when you watch it again and again and again, do you ever feel any differently to it, or does it seem like somebody else sometimes, or how does it feel watching that?
To be honest, I haven't watched it. I don't watch it back too much. Listen, it was a great day and a great feeling, obviously, for me to score, and it ends up being the winning goal. But I think the feelings I've always had is just for the supporters. My family were there. I was a Manchester lad as well. A lot of my mates were in the crowd supporting Man United. And for me to score against me, you know, a team where I was just brought up down the road. But the feeling was for, obviously, my family who were there, like I say, and the supporters on the day. I'll never forget the supporters. We had a great support there. And it made a big deal because obviously Man United, who only 2-3 days later go on and win the Cup Winners' Cup. So and we performed really well. I think we deserved to win it on the day. So we didn't let ourselves down. And great bunch of lads to play with, and it was just a great day all round. I mean, obviously I get the plaudits because I ended up scoring the winning goal, but it was about the team at the end of the day.
Let's just have a look at one or two images from the day. Which probably from that moment on, the goal scorer you wouldn't remember too much about maybe. There you are on the field with the Rumbelows Cup, as it was at the time. It's the League Cup, of course, just raising it aloft. A lovely team shot there with you and familiar faces in there. Danny Wilson there, top right. Steve McCall, I noticed, top right as well, who played around that era. Hurst is in the front on the right-hand side. And also, let's have a look at this, because you got me on the back page of the Daily Express. There's my byline there. Wednesday Jokers Cup treat, Daily Express. And even though you scored the winning goal, you're not in the picture, are you? It's John Harkes there and Ron with the sombrero. A fella that's just larger than life, Ron Atkinson. And, you know, how can you describe this fella as a manager? Was he the best manager you played for, or what?
Well, I mean, I've got a lot of time for Eddie Gray when I was a young player coming up at Leeds. He did a lot for me to end up being a professional footballer. Give me my chance when I was very young when I was at Leeds United. So, but in my later stages when I went on playing Ron just always. I think he's probably the best man manager I've played under. He gives you that belief, and just for some reason he can just get another 15 to 8% out of you, and he makes you feel really good and, you know, believe in yourself a lot more than any other manager I've played under. So I had a great relationship with him. He loved a laugh and a joke at the right time, played good football, bought some excellent players. We had a brilliant dressing room. That was one of the big things about us, the dressing room. And it helped us to go on and, you know, to have a decent time. And it's just a shame that he didn't, you know, I would have liked to have played under him a bit longer, because some of the best football I played in my career was under Ron. Yeah,
he went off to Aston Villa, as we all know. What always reminds me of that era relative to you was sitting in Ron's office one day, having interviewed him, and once the business was over, he poured a drink. Yeah. So sitting there just having a conversation off the record, and he referred to a bit of mischief in the camp that day, and he mentioned your name, and he said one or two things have happened. Bit of a scallywag is Sheridan. He said, but I tell you what, he said, that's what I want around the place. He said, I want a bit of mischief around the place. Yeah. He says, I like that. And, you know, that kind of gave you me an idea of his man management as well. I don't know what it was.
No, I think scallywag. That's it. I've never been called a scallywag. I think we had a couple in our dressing room. If you're going to call them scallywag, we had a good. I think we just liked to laugh and a joke, and we got up to. We were young lads, and we got up to things what we shouldn't have been doing. But at the end of the day, what I look at is when we go out on the football pitch. Yeah. I think that's what Ron respected more than anything, and I think a lot of people who've seen us play
He liked it, the spirit.
Yeah, and he likes that. You know, I mean, even I can remember, you know, talking drink-wise, he'd offer you a brandy even before you're going out for the game. He had a bottle of brandy next to the door in the changing room.
Did he?
Have a little brandy if you want one, just before you go out.
And you all said, no, I won't bother.
I think Kirsty used to drink half a bottle of that. So
did most players have a nip
I
of
think
that?
they all had a little, just warm you up, get you.
Did he?
Yeah.
No,
But he did little things like, you know, and they were just all part of getting everyone together. And like I said, we used to have a right laugh as well off the pitch, and we took it onto the pitch. We all stuck together, and I think it showed that on the pitch, because we were a decent team, and we did some good things.
Fantastic. There's lots of ground to cover on this show, by the way, bearing in mind your managerial career as well, Republic of Ireland, Leeds you've mentioned, Bolton, Doncaster, Oldham you also played for and managed Oldham, Chesterfield, my team. We'll talk about that in part 2 and the challenge facing Jack Lester, Plymouth, Newport and Notts County. You've always been prepared to travel for a job. But just in the last 3 minutes of part 1, Sheffield Wednesday now. What do you make of it? You know, there's about a dozen really big clubs in that championship, and they're just one of them. Struggling a bit to fulfil the expectations. Any thoughts? Or
yeah, I think the expectations have come on the set. I think the manager's done a good job there. Unfortunately, for the last 2 years, they've been so close. I went to the playoff final against Hull. I thought they were very disappointing on the day. Didn't really turn up. I watched the game Huddersfield last year. I thought they were unlucky. I thought they would have gone on and done that. And so they've been very close on 2 occasions. So there's a lot of pressure on the manager now for the 3rd season, where he's nearly got there, just to get across the line. He brought 1 or 2 players in. I mean, I don't know what budget they've got. I believe they've got a decent budget, and I just think they're just a bit inconsistent more than anything else. I think they've had a couple of good results. I watched them this year against Sheffield United, where I thought first half they pull, and then you get to 2-2, and then you think the momentum's with them, but Sheffield United won the game deservedly on the set. I just think there's a bit of inconsistency. I think that championship's a very difficult division. You couldn't really pick or...
Do you think they'll be there at the end?
I would fancy him to get in around the playoffs, Sheffield Wednesday, yeah, definitely so. I always, likewise with Leeds, I'd fancy them. They're inconsistent. Sheffield United are going great at the moment. So Yorkshire teams, I think there'll be at least 2 of them out of the 3 will be possibly 1 going up automatic, but I fancy 2 or possibly 3 of them, hopefully, to get in around the playoffs.
Should Wednesday, with the players they've got, be more consistent and be
I think
higher?
so, yeah. I think the budget and the money, not that it makes you into a great team, but they've brought the likes of Rhodes and 1 or 2 others. But I think they've definitely got the players in the quality there to push and go for automatic. But if it has to be the playoffs, give yourself a chance.
You mentioned the manager, Carlos Carvalho, doing a good job. I suppose inevitably, when you set high expectations, just lately fans have almost been divided on him, or an element of them have wanted him to go. You've been a manager. I don't know whether you support that or whether you think that's harsh.
No, I think that, I mean, and because he's done a half-decent job, he's brought that pressure on himself, and I think he'll know that himself. He'll know the expectations and what the fans want from the team this season. So I think he totally understands that. I feel as though he's done a good job. He needs to try and get over the line, and I think he knows it's got to be this season. Yeah,
I think he does. And do you think he is the man to get them over the line?
I'd like to think so. I've met him on a couple of occasions. He comes really down to earth, nice fella, knows his football. Like I say, I think he's done a good job. But I think football today, you don't get 6-7 years.
As you know in your career, and Barry Bannon at the heart of it, a player I'd imagine you admire. No better passer of ball than you, but this guy, really makes them tick at times.
Yeah, I like him. Yeah, he's involved in the game a lot. When I've seen him play and tries to get things going. He tries things what other players won't do. He'll make mistakes, but I think he's very confident little player, and I think he's got really good ability. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. And Leeds United have just gone off the boil a little bit, but do you reckon they might be there at the end as well? We'll see about that. 10 seconds to the break. James Gregg will join us, rounding up everything else, but it's such a lot more ground to cover with our special guest this evening, John Sheridan. Join us in 5. See you then.